Hey everyone, and welcome back to another week of Shiggles. I am that guy Rickster.
Hello, Darian here, guys.
And to start, before we get into the episode, I just want to say that this might be the last episode for a while, not indefinitely, but I'll be away for a few weeks and won't be able to record. So just bear with us. We will be back. I just need to get this out the way, and then we'll be back with new episodes. So
Prison, honey.
yeah,
He's going to prison.
be quiet. It's not prison, but it might as well be because I won't have access to like anything. I won't be able to record. I won't have access to phones and stuff like that. So, but it's for a good reason. It's for a good cause.
Not a good
Moving
cause.
upward movements. So yeah. So if you don't see any episodes, we're not done. We will be back. So yeah.
Mhm.
How was your week?
This was a terrible week for me.
Oh wow.
My it's not nothing bad. It's just that my schedule been all over the place. Like
Uh-huh.
work kind of got in the way, then some things I had to do got in the way, and then it's just like I just wasn't having the best time. The gym is also terrible. I've hardly met any of my move goals because like I've been so, you know, all over the place. But anyways, it's Friday. Whatever. We move. How about you?
Mine was very chill, very relaxing. And other friends have been asking me, so what have you been doing? What have you been up to? Like I'm literally just relaxing. I wake up, I shower, have breakfast, and I'm back in bed. I've, I've stopped. I haven't been to the gym in 2 weeks, and I'll tell you why. Um, as you know, for the next 9 weeks, I am literally going to be working out nonstop. So I figured leading up to it, I'm just going to take the time to just relax, just to chill, because I'm barely even going to have time to sleep for the next couple weeks. So I've just been chilling. So my week, in one word, chill.
Also, my apartment is freezing. I can't wait to move. I'm over
I
this.
was wondering why you were in a hoodie. Usually you're not.
Because
What happened?
ugh, so people who well, I'm not sure. I'm sure some people live in the US live in cold areas too, whatever. So, well, in New York, you have a lot of brand new apartments, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
pre-war apart. They call them pre-war apartments. So the pre-war apartments are sometimes designed in a way no elevators. Um, sometimes
Central heating.
um central heating that is controlled by the building. Central heating is a terrible thing. You
Yeah,
have
it
no
is.
control over the heat, no control over how hot, how warm. I hate it
Very
because the
true.
weather, because it's been like 50 degrees. People who understand Celsius, it's just like maybe 7, 8 degrees Celsius thereabout. Not really cold, not really like freezing. Like you get used to this starter temperature. They turn the heat down, but the way outside is cold, it's countering that.
So it's not enough.
So it's not enough. So like the heat is on because I felt the pipe, because they usually have these big ass pipes running through the building. The heat is on, but it's not hot enough. So then it's too fucking cold. So it feels
Yeah.
like the heat isn't on. And then sometimes they have it too hot, so you're steaming and you have to open the window, and all the moisture in the air is gone because there's
To
no dial.
counterbalance it.
Yeah, there's no dial or anything on it to turn it left or right to adjust it. A lot of the new apartments have like a little knob where you can adjust the heat yourself. My apartment doesn't have that, and I'm freezing my ass off. So yeah, I'm annoyed.
I'll be
Like, what the
joining
fuck
you
is
in that
what the
freezing for the next nine
what
weeks.
the fuck is this? So I
I'm
can't
not
wait to
looking
move.
forward to it.
So if you ever move to New York or you're living anywhere in New York, one of the things is just try getting an apartment that has heating that you can control. Because
Yeah.
if you can't, different people have different body temperatures and what they find as hot and cold. And as much as I can sleep in the heat, like I prefer the freezing cold. But during the day, like, all right, come on, like, what we doing here? You
You
know?
know, to be honest, I've always preferred being hot over being cold. Because I think
No,
when, for me, because when I'm hot, I can literally just like take everything off and just be naked if I want to.
but that's the
Can
point.
shower as many times as I like.
I won't be able to sleep. The bed have to be cool. You know, some coolness, or else I won't be able to sleep.
But it's when it's too cold. I have to be wearing all these layers and like sleeping in four socks, pajama,
Because I slept in a
tracksuit,
sweater,
sweater, hoodie, and it's like it's just I don't like a lot of clothes on me, so it bothers me, and I
and
don't
I
know.
usually
I
sleep naked.
prefer the warm, not like too hot. Jesus Christ, Orion.
Your cat is being a menace, and mine is just here
Yes, he
sitting down all
is. For
chill.
I that's how he is. Like whenever I'm usually I close the door, but I'm
Why are he
not
pushing up
in
his
my
ass
room.
like that? Put it
I
away.
don't
Put it
know.
away.
He is all over me, as you can see. I mentioned to you before we started recording, he has been so attached to me for the last couple of weeks, and I don't get why. Like, look at him. What's all this? What's this for?
I've
Oh my
kind of
god.
realized too that they're able to. They can't tell time, but they can read patterns, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, my schedule is like I get out of work, I go to the gym, I stay until closing time. Closing time is 11. So by the time
Mm-hmm.
I get home, it's like maybe around 11, between 11:20 to like 11:40. Maybe like if I stop somewhere to do something.
Yeah.
And I've realized that if I come before, say I come like an earlier time, he would be asleep. But if I come between that particular window, he's up and ready and waiting for me at that door. Like he
Yeah.
knows that I'm coming at that particular time. And the other night I felt so bad because I was leaving the gym. My friend called me to ask me to do something, and I went away. And then I came back, and like I came back at 1 a.m. And usually that would be his bedtime. So he goes
Mm-hmm.
to bed at 12:31, like by himself. And at 1 a.m., he was on the bed, turned in a diagonal position to the door,
Because he
waiting
was
for
waiting
me.
for you.
I felt
Yeah.
so bad. I'm like, oh, Boots, you was waiting for me.
Yep. Like
I'm
whenever I
so-
drive in and I come through the door, this one is on the back of the couch staring at the door because he knows it's me. I
oh,
think he
that's so
can.
sweet.
They also pick up your scent, and because your
Mm-hmm.
nose are so sensitive, like he knows when it's you. Because I don't need. You know how people have like guard dogs. If somebody is walking anywhere close to the house, I know because he's very alert and like staring in the direction. I was like, you hear something, and then eventually the person goes by the camera and like, oh, someone spots. And like, okay, he heard something outside. So if anything should be happening, this bitch will let me know because he is very alert. But anyway, this was a very long introduction. Let's get into the topics for this week, which the first one we're going to talk about, of course, is Mayhem, Gaga's new album. Thoughts?
Okay. This is a number. I'm the number one Lady Gaga stan. Anybody who knows me throughout my life, if you don't know this, you don't know me well enough. Um, I think in our own opinions we were kind of misled in my
Mm-hmm.
own opinion, right? And it's like when an artist gives you like songs from an album, especially as singles before, and it's not like a surprise release, you start getting like an idea of what the album would be like. Especially when she played them snippets in Paris some months ago, it sounded very heavy, very like what Disease and Abracadabra sounds
Yeah.
like. That's what the beats sounded like to me. So when, because we thought Die With a Smile wasn't going to be on the album, it was just like a one off single. But when she said Die With a Smile was going to be on the album, we're questioning, like,
What do
well,
you mean?
why is it on the album? Like it sounds nothing like Abracadabra or Disease.
Or Disease, like
So I was just
completely
like,
different songs.
this. But then on the business side, I was saying, well, the song has won a Grammy already. The song went number one on the Billboard charts for like 5 weeks. Is the longest running number one song of all time on Spotify Global for like
Yeah.
140 days now and counting. So that means the album already has like 2 billion streams already, which is good, chart metrics. I'm like, well, why not? So then I'm going into this album thinking it's a dark pop sort of album because that's what Disease and Abracadabra gave. And then I'm like, That With a Smile is like the that one ballad on the album that always on. Her albums always
They
have a
always
ballad
have that
that
one song, that one slow
doesn't
song.
really mesh with the album like that, but it's just a ballad and it's just there.
It's
And
like
this
back
was
in the early 2000s when all the pop girlies had a gospel song at the end of their
at the
album.
end of the album.
Yeah.
But when I started listening to the album, I'm like, hold on a second. That With a Smile fits on the album. Abracadabra and Disease doesn't fit on the album. Meaning
I
you're
would
able
say,
when
especially,
you
definitely Abracadabra.
I mean, when you do an album, like it gives you freedom to have like a one or two song that's outside of the aesthetic. But these two are so far outside of the aesthetic, meaning if you as a casual listener been hearing these two songs, you're thinking the album is gonna be like this, but then when you hear the albums, you're like, that's not what I thought. So that threw me off.
But
But
then the name of the album actually makes sense
makes
because she
sense.
said it's mayhem. It's not. It's literally chaos. And the album, it goes. It flows together. But at the same time, like these two two first
Songs
songs
kind
are
of,
very
yeah.
different.
And then they
Especially when you
open
get
the
into that the
album too.
middle. Yeah, it's when you get to that the middle half of the album, you're like, we're going into a different territory here. Because for
So
me, I don't know if you got this, but for me, I think it was very heavily 80s inspired
80s.
and
Mm-hmm.
rock. Because I heard a
Mm-hmm.
lot of David Bowie
Mm-hmm.
inspiration and Prince. I don't know.
And
Wait, I
Michael
think
Jackson too.
I didn't get the Michael Jackson part,
Shadow
but
of a Man.
in Killer, definitely, I feel like she used samples of Prince's guitar playing in
Yes,
Killer.
yes, for sure.
Yeah, I heard that. That
Shadow of
definitely.
a Man is the Michael Jackson
Oh my
of
gosh,
it.
but I wrote that one down. I like that one.
Shadow of a Man is the Michael Jackson of it. There's another one that's on the exclusive uh called Kill of Love or Kill for Love. That if
Mm-hmm.
you listen to that, it sounds the dun 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 dun. You can hear the thriller aspects in that one,
The
but it's
Thriller.
not on
Okay,
the
I'll listen to that one.
streaming. You actually have to purchase the album, which you guys should be purchasing the album, stream the album, share it twice, listen it once or two, send it to your church, your group chats, all of that. Um,
One thing
because the
before we
stand
move
in
on
me, those first day streams count. But yes,
from Shadow of a Man, I also when I was listening to it, but it's how I like got the 80s vibes. I was thinking
you can
like
hear the
this
80s
song.
synths in the.
Yeah, but definitely Shadow of a Man. I think you could hear it in Stranger Things and not think it's not from
Yes,
the 80s. Like it
yes.
could fit into that show specifically.
But it's written in a way where it is modern in a sense. One other artists have done this in recent times. Um, well, two have done this in recent times, where they use the 80s synths and sort of hooks and writing style techniques, but they make it sound like a song you can hear on the radio today with references to the past.
Yeah.
Um, so if you think about Future Nostalgia, Dua Lipa's album, which was very 80s, 90s inspired too, is kind of similar. Um, Ava Max have done like similar like samples of 80s songs too. So it gives you that aspect of, the 80s, but then more like a current modern take on it as well.
Janelle Monae's last album that she put out, I think that one could fall into that category too.
Hmm.
Because you heard, for me, it was heavily reggae dancehall somewhat inspired, but it's more so the beats from like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s reggae type dancehall music. So, and then of course, she mixed in like the pop and the rock cuz she's very much rock, but I loved her last album. Her last album was really good to me.
So someone pointed out that it's almost like a travel through time. Um so there's a little bit of multiple people in there's a lot of her aspects in the album as well, to be honest, because
Yeah.
Abracadabra is that's a typical classic Lady Gaga song. Like nobody could write Abracadabra. Disease is like a song of hers, but like a more modern type of Lady Gaga. Then you have a couple songs which are very like 90s Michael Jackson. Then you have a couple songs which are very David Bowie. Then you have a couple
Mhm.
songs which are very Prince. And then you have this one Taylor Swift song on the album which
Which one
is
is that?
given like polarizing comments, but I love it because there's a white girl in me and I love white girl music. How
Which one is
bad do you
that?
want me? Um
Oh, okay.
a lot of people don't like that song. But to me, it's something she's never done before. She's a white girl, but she's never specifically written like a white girl song like a Taylor Swift or like a Gracie Adams or one of them,
Yeah.
white girls. But if you listen to the song, and there's this Taylor Swift song called Gorgeous, those songs could be on the same album. They sound not exactly alike, but like the same songs in different fonts.
I'll
Like
have to take your
Gorgeous
word
sounds
for
like a
it.
teeny poppy white girl, and How Bad You Want Me sound like a white girl, more mature white girl sort of song. But I love that song. A lot of people
Mhm.
don't like it because you're like, why did she write this basic white girl song? But I'm like, yeah, for me, the basic white girl in me, hello, hello, it is so much for me. So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Um, Perfect Celebrity.
That one is good.
That song, I was about to rate that song like a five because that song started off so slow.
It did.
But when the chorus drops, it's like when you take an edible and you forgot that you took the edible and it suddenly just hits you. And every time I've listened to that song a lot since the album, and I get the same feeling all the time. It's just so slow, and then when that chorus drops, it just hits you.
That's how I felt about Vanish Into You. I thought I wasn't going to like it
Oh, that's a very
because
good
it
song.
started off slow as well. But then you get into it and you're like, oh, this is a really good song. And somebody said to me earlier today that that specific one, they could hear it on the same album with Love Game and Money Honey. And like
Yes.
that is true. That
Mm-hmm.
could song could literally fit into that album as well.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, it's almost like a travel through time with her
Someone
different
said it's
albums.
very cherry boom boom, meaning
Yes.
if you know the Gaga songs that are very singy, pop songs, very
The Summer
singy,
Boys.
but at the same time not too bad romance and Judasy, there's a lot of it on this album. It's a lot of paparazzi s Summer Boys, you
Yeah.
know, cherry boom boom sort of songs on the album. So it's not very ballady. It's not that Million Reason type of slow, but it's singy. There's a lot of lyrics that you can hear, heavy lyrics.
Yeah.
Um, People love Garden of Eden.
I liked it.
I
I
think
did like it.
it's catchy. It will be catchy for a lot of people, but I find it generic.
And I
Meaning
think
the
the
average
reason
person would
why
eat it up, but it's very generic to me
I think the
sometimes.
reason why it's very catchy for people is also because we've heard disease and abracadabra for so long. And then that is immediately after the two of them. So like, okay, it's like a different feel. So I think that's why a lot of people gravitate to that one because immediately after those two, that's the first one to follow.
Zombie Boy.
Zombie Boy is good.
Very I was confused how I would like that song because hearing the
Mm-hmm.
snippet in the Disease music video was just like, I don't know. This chorus seems a little bit, but it's very hollaback Gwen Stefani. Like if you listen, if you listen to Hollaback Girl, and if you listen to Zombie Boy, it's just like the
Hmm.
Gorgeous and the How Bad Do You Want Me comparison too. It very reminiscent of that song, but not the same. But it
It's an
has
interesting
that energy.
comparison. I never thought of that.
But it has that particular energy. I like it. It's a standout too. The A typical non-Gaga stan will like that song too because it's very catchy. Which is the
Catchy.
next thing I wanted to say too. She, aside from Abracadabra, she hasn't used a lot of that chop and edit words. Well, she did it in Shadow of a Man. But outside of that, it's a lot of ah-ahs and na-nas. But outside of that, the hooks are very catchy. Like, for most of the songs, they're very catchy. Like, you'll just randomly find yourself saying a part of the song. Like, it's very, very, very catchy.
But
Which,
that's the thing with her though. Like a lot, every album she's ever done, like her songs, even if they're not the upbeat, very dance ones, there's always like just one line that sticks out in your head because it's catchy.
so if you haven't listened to the album as yet, don't expect it to be, it's a great album, by the way. It's a great album. Not what I expected, but still, it's still a great album. And
Question.
the way the track run started, it blasts you into like the best songs because it goes from Disease to Abracadabra to Guardian of Eden to Perfect Celebrity, Vanish into You. Like most of the best songs are lined up. Like I think eight, the first eight
Yes, the
songs,
first
like
eight.
back to back, or
As I
like
said, the first
really really
half.
great. Yeah,
The first half. But before I ask the question I was going to ask, I will say though that Die With a Smile was the perfect way to end the
closer.
album. Yeah,
Yes.
that was the
Hmm.
perfect way to end it. But my question was between this and Chromatical, where would you which one would you say is the best one? The better one?
So I was trying to remember where I was for the last 2 or 3 days. I think this album experience is different to me. And a lot of biases are going to come up because I'm able to experience a lot of things I wanted to experience from a Gaga era. I wanted to live here. I wanted to go to like release parties, like see billboards, all of that to get like the full experience. So I feel like this being my first album, living here and experiencing these things are kind of going to sway me a little bit. So I don't want to like make a direct comparison between the two as yet. I was trying to remember where I was when I listened to Chromatica for the first time. I think it was during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't want to make a comparison as yet, but looking back in hindsight, Chromatica was very unfinished. It looking Comparing it to a lot of her albums outside of Joanne, it's just unfinished. Because when you hear the demos, if you've actually listened to any of the demos outside, I'm like, why didn't we do this? In hindsight, they scrapped. So Gaga is known for bridges and hooks and pre-choruses. Chromatica had none of that. It was scrapped severely. Babylon's like pre bridge was scrapped. Like Chromatica had no bridge at all. So it made the songs very short and very bland and basic. It sounds like something that, a lot of these pop stars put out these days. A basic chorus, a base, the verses, whatever. So it's hard for me to compare it as yet, but I think Mayhem is better than Chromatica so far.
Okay.
Um because the songs are really well written, like they're edited properly, like they have their respective pre-chorus and bridges and highs and lows that takes you up and down while you listen to each song. For the most part, Chromatica didn't do that. It's not the well, it's not the worst album. But it's not the best. It's not the
The
best for me.
worst.
It's not the worst, but it's not the best for me.
I would say my least liked album from her is Joanna or Joanne, whatever it was called.
I like Joanne because it's cohesive.
That was my least liked album from her. But I will say though that this Mayhem is very much the Fame Monster, but elevated. So
Hmm.
love it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I struggle with the Fame though, being a top album.
I said the Fame Monster.
I
Maybe she
know, but
did
I'm telling
the
you, I
Fame.
struggle with the Fame being a top album for me because the Fame is kind of structured like this album. But here's the thing: it's like the Fame is structured with bangers after bangers after bangers after bangers, and
It
when you get to the
was.
last banger, a lot of them songs below that are skips for me. Like a lot of them are skips for me. But yeah, excited to see how this perform. I see a lot of people eating it up. Um,
As they should,
outside
rightfully so.
of
It's Gaga.
oh, not Gaga. You said that like in Harley Quinn, but like Clayface, but not No, the way I observe is that I have to step outside of my own bubble as being a little monster and a stan and look at people from like other fan bases or people who not the quintessential like Gaga fan to say all right,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, pretty
Like
good.
somebody literally had the audacity to ask me, "Are you going to listen to the album?" Like, what type of question is that? Like, it's as I
12
said,
o'clock
it's
on the dot,
Gaga.
I was up
Come
and
on,
waiting like I was ready. I
that's not even a
was
question. Of course, I'm going to
I
listen to
was
the
ready.
album
But
anyway.
I'm kind of excited to see how this will be performed on tour because it's not very
If
dancey.
it goes on tour, I have to be there.
No, for sure it is, but it's not very dancey for the most part.
But that's the thing. It is Gaga. We know she's going to put on a show,
For sure.
whether or not it's dancey. Because we know she's going to have the set design. She's going to have the backup dancers, like the costumes. She's going to do all that. So I have to. I didn't get to see Chromatica, and I have to see this
Oh
one.
damn! You should have come with me. That was amazing.
Remember.
I
Let's
remember what
not go.
happened.
Let's not
Yeah,
re-traumatize myself.
I
Let's
remember
not go
what
there.
I remember what happened. Um,
Exactly.
the last thing I'm gonna say is though, regards to the tour, my all-time favorite Gaga songs have gotten justice over the years.
Yeah.
Like I feel like people usually pick the songs that are like so deep dive to be the fan favorites, and I'm like, no, it's these songs, and like
What's one of
Bloody
them?
Bloody Mary and Judas has like an amazing resurgence in the last 3-4 years. Um,
Especially since they use Bloody Mary in
in
Wednesday.
Wednesday, but Judas, the straight boys and the anime community, it
But just I always thought
it
Jesus was like a very good song. I
it
thought you
was
were
a
going to
very
say
good song, but
something.
it was a very good song, but how the GP saw the song because of how the Catholic were mad and shit like that. It
Well, yeah, I can see that.
it slightly underperformed in comparison to how it performed in my head.
I
Um,
thought you were going to say "Fashion of His Love" or something like that,
no,
like
no,
some
no,
very
no, no,
deep
no, no,
dive.
no. Government hooker, the gym boys eat that
Government
up.
hooker.
The gym boys eat that up too. So for my wish list for this upcoming tour, Judas Bloody Mary Government Hooker has to be on the set list. Like if it's not on the set list, I feel like I'll be mad because just the way those two songs have like Spotify can kind of tell you how much like a song is doing, whether how old it is, and like Judas have been doing like millions of streams like daily. Same
But
for Bloody Mary and shit like that.
Bloody Mary, Judas, Government Hooker, and Disease could literally be on the same
Be in the
album.
same universe,
Yeah.
yes. So I hope that
And
they're
that's why I
on
kept
the next
saying,
set list.
when she released Disease, I kept saying, and I think I said it to you, she is back. This is the Gaga we knew. Like, she is back. So anyway, that's enough of that. Because we could talk about this all day.
All day.
We
Anyways,
have 10 minutes to go. Let's get into the finale of Traitors. I'm so
so
glad I got Daniel out.
uh,
Let's just start there.
she was getting on
That
my
was the top
nerves.
of the episode.
She was getting on my
Oh my
nerves, and I
god.
think I wouldn't have a problem with her if she didn't do this dumbass move to be like, let me get because that's what she wanted to do from day one. She wanted to get Carolyn out so she could have brought Brittany in to be
Yes.
her best buddy so she could have get Rob out, which never made any sense to me
Did you
because
watch
she
the
could have
reunion?
gotten yeah, she could have
Okay.
gotten Rob out without going through that roundabout method. Like it made no
And
sense to me. And then she's trying to
the first
gaslight
question they
Carolyn.
asked her.
She's trying to gaslight Carolyn like um it wasn't that serious. You turned on her. Like you turned on her. That never made no sense.
That's the first question they asked her. Why didn't you just go after Rob, seeing as how all the heat was on him? Why go
Already.
after Carolyn?
That made no it. This girl was so
And that was
dumb.
when all hell broke loose. Because I honestly think if things hadn't played out the way they did,
Carolyn would have made
Carolyn
it
would
to
have
the
made it to
end.
the end.
Her personality was working perfectly for her.
She would
They
have
would
made it
not
to
have.
the end.
They would have not had
And
figured it out. And I'm glad
Carolyn's problem, though, is that she's very smart and calculated in how she plays, but when it comes to articulating, she's not good at that.
good at
So
yeah.
she's always stumbling over her words and stuff, and she's not really explaining herself. So even when they started like focusing on her, if she was able to really like speak, she would have probably talked her way out of it. Because even when they asked her the question, what was Alan wearing
She was
the night?
struggling. I
She's
felt
like,
so bad for her.
well, and then of course Tom was the one who just messed everything up. But it worked in her favor in the end
Favor,
anyway.
yeah. It was very. What shocked me the most, not that Britney voted for Daniel, because I kind of I saw that. Britney made a bad move because she thought
That was so funny.
Britney made a bad move because she thought that if she didn't vote
Dolores.
for if she didn't vote for Daniel, people would have been like, "Well, why didn't you vote for Daniel? Like, you're protecting Daniel." So then, whatever with
But
that situation. What
but
shocked
not
me the
only that, you could have
most
literally just said, she is my friend, I can't vote for her.
What shocked me the most was how Britney slaughtered Dylan, and then they still voted for Britney. I was like, because all this time I'm like, that Dylan, you're not defending yourself properly. You're letting her
He
mow you
wasn't.
down. But
He
at the same
wasn't.
time, her mowing you down is kind of making her seem so super defensive. So hopefully they pick up on that and they all vote for her. I was gagged
But
that
they
they did.
because they all realized the night after she got recruited or whatever, like her personality somewhat changed, which it did. We did see like a change in her demeanor and everything in the castle. So that wasn't playing in her favor either. And then Gabby is a smart bitch. As much as she has the dumb valley girl son and everything she says sound like
She's
a
smart
question
as
and
hell.
sarcastic. She is so smart.
She's
And I
smart as
wish
hell.
if they were listening to Gabby from
For
day
a long
one,
time from the get go,
everybody
yeah.
would have been gone out. Every traitor would have
Because
been
she
gone.
was literally sniffing them out and she was so spot on. But this is the thing, and I hate it. And they brought this up in the reunion too. Um, Big personalities tend to overpower like the medium personality, shy personality people. Um, and then this season was cast with so many big personalities.
Big
That's the
personalities,
reason
yeah.
why the first part of the season started out that way. Um, and the reason why I said to you that Dorinda gagged Bob, not in a like read him way, but the point that she made was very valid. Okay, whatever, you voted me off, it's a show, blah blah blah. I can see why many sorry, I can see why many people would get over their elimination. After a couple hours, they know they're bummed, they
Yeah.
would get over it. But if I get over it and I see you on the internet running this press tour, I'm gonna be pissed. So when she brought that point up, I'm like, yeah, because the fans would be mad that you got rid of the housewife, blah, blah, blah. But the fans are always going to have their opinions. You directly engaging with the fans and running on this whole long tour is going to seem negative. And when she said that, I'm like, right, because okay, right, you get rid of Dorinda. This whole long epistle, I don't know her, and well, so what? Life's not fair. Like, why are we doing that? It was kind of negative. And she was right. She said that you got rid of me, fine, whatever. But the way you were online, the YouTube and the doing things on Twitter, that would make it seems a little bit like you have something against me, even if you
I
don't.
get that. I can
Because,
see that.
but I
But
said this to
then
you. Why are you
Bob wouldn't have
engaging the
been Bob
fans?
if Bob wasn't doing that. So
But that's the point. It's just it can read. I know his personality.
as mean spirited.
Not much that I like it, but I know his personality. For the people who don't know his personality, can read it as mean spirited, as Ian read it as wanting to be the it girl. It can come across that way, and a lot of the comments from people were that he wanted to be the big personality of the show,
Well, yeah.
not because of what happened on the show, but how the back and forth was going on
After the
online,
show.
which is
Can I
pointless to
say
me.
though, I know a lot of people like her and whatever, but she was so annoying at the reunion, the Iron Girl. Like I found her
She's
so
not
annoying.
annoying.
No, I found her very
She's
annoying at
not
the reunion.
annoying, and that's the
Very
thing.
annoying.
I think with the way she got eliminated quickly, you never really got to see how funny and ditzy and blonde she
And
is.
I
And
get
you can
that.
see, as you can see, the cast said that they really loved being around her. And I feel as because you don't watch Dubai, you never really got a chance to really experience her. And if you did, it would have been so fun. Because like
Eventually
she's a
I'm going to
model,
watch Dubai. I'm just not there yet.
she's a
But I'll watch
model.
it.
She gets all the couture and stuff from designers. So like she literally just she's like a Bronwyn. She just walks in the designer couture all the time because clothes get sent to her just to wear it. And she's very funny. Um English I think is her third or fourth language, so there's some broken English there, and then it just makes her sound funny as hell. So she's really a key to be around. She would have been great TV for sure, for sure, for sure.
Well, Traitors is always bringing back people, so maybe they'll bring her back next season. Who knows?
Well, let's see. I just wanted to have more of a balance. Um, there's just too many survivors on the
And Gabby did
show.
say that. Gabby
There's
said that
just
at
too
the
many.
reunion.
Yeah, it's too many of the same people. So then the show eventually, thank God, they show chaotic and it didn't end up like this. But if you allow it, it can very much be a survivors or the MTV the challenge versus everybody else. Because you bring in
Yeah,
four,
Big
five,
Brother
six.
as well. They have a lot
Yeah,
of the
you
Big
bring in
Brother
four,
people
five,
on
six
there.
survivors. Four, five, six. It needs to be balanced.
With all the reality TV shows out there, I think they can honestly, because what they have like 16, 17 people,
Hmm.
20 something,
Hmm.
they can have one person from each show.
Or at least
From
like 3-3.
or even that. But with all the reality TV shows out there, you don't need to have six, seven people from Big Brother, seven from The Challenge, seven from Survivor, and then one from Drag Race, four from Housewives. Like,
Which I'm glad they brought it up. And I think the producers should be smart because a lot of people aren't into game shows. Like I'm not heavily into game shows, but I watch it because the housewives are on it, even if I don't know
mhm.
them. And I'm glad they brought up the point. Like, it doesn't make sense. Immediately the game starts, let's get the housewives. Why aren't you guys getting the survivors, the Boston Robs? It's so stupid. And
Yeah.
I'm glad they brought it up because I'm like, you getting the people that you can always get later.
Because
Like
how I
Dolores,
even got into the Traitors was because of a housewife.
the
Phaedra was the
housewives
only
on
reason
it.
why I started
Yes.
watching it.
So I'm like, what's the beef with the housewives? Like,
And
it
she made it
makes
very
no,
far.
it makes absolutely no sense. And
But you know what surprised me? When they pointed it out, I'm like, Dolores, as much as she wasn't speaking up, she was very smart with her gameplay. But she was a corrections officer. So, like, her doing all this questioning and detective work, she was asking them for specific reasons. She was really sussing them out. I'm like, you smart bitch. I like you.
but then she was smart, but then she kept
But then she
voting
would
because she
she would
didn't
vote the
like
wrong
people.
way.
Just
And
because
she
she
said
don't
it.
like people.
She said she was always going off of her heart and not with her mind. And I get that. Like she literally got
Girl,
made
leave
her
your
feelings
emotions
get in
at
the
home.
way.
Because you have a
Which is
little
why
beef
the
with somebody
end
and you're voting for the person.
I was
Gag, she
so
didn't
happy
vote
with
for
how it
Ivor.
ended. I'm so
Yeah,
happy how it ended because
like
and
it
she
just
literally
ended
said it.
and
I'm going to vote with my mind this time, and I love
yeah,
that.
like it just like I mean, even though they all got like 50 something K,
Yeah, but at
51,
least they all
51K,
won.
but they all won. And let's just remember that these, well, aside from Dolores, because Dolores money might be a little bit up
And
more.
Ivor, because Ivor
Well,
is a
Ivor is a
freaking
royal.
lord. He is a
Yeah, but
royal,
yeah,
literally.
it's just
You
like
know, he is the king's second cousin, right?
mhm,
Okay.
it is I like the way it ended.
But
Why? Because
a
all
lot of
of the
them, they
people
do
who
have
won,
like regular jobs.
yes,
Like, what's her name? Sierra. She's a nurse. So when she's not
al-
on shows, she's doing her nurse job.
and these people that won aren't the survivors and the challengers, and it didn't end nasty like last season. Because last season,
Oh,
the way that
last season
ended,
was
it was
messy.
so nasty. Like
I still feel so bad for her.
it was just so nasty. Like them
It
two
was.
motherfuckers. And oh no, we was just going with our gut. They were not going with their guts. They wanted to
They
split the money
weren't.
two ways.
They
And there's
want to
nothing
split the
wrong
money
with that,
between
you
the two
know.
of them.
I hate that's also the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Just own up to it, bro. Just say you wanted to
Just
split the
own
money
it.
two ways. Like, but
But I think
anyways,
this is the first time four people have won Survivor. Not Survivor, the
the
Traitors.
yeah.
Yeah.
But good
And I
season.
love Gabby. She's like, oh, if I win, I might be able to get married. I'm like, that is so cute.
Good
Honestly,
season. I'm
Gabby grew on me over the season, and I really do love her.
especially
I love
towards the
Gabby.
end.
Yeah.
I'm not spending no money on no wedding though. We're having a cheap ass wedding. I'm not feeding nobody. You will hear that, oh yes, I'm married, and then you will see me on vacation spending the money. Not to feed anybody. I'm sorry. No, not
Just
happening.
like there will be signs.
Not happening. Not happening. Because let's talk about it for a
Yeah.
quick second. You catering for a wedding, and what the biggest cost is that you have to feed everybody, and it's $400 per person. Are you
Especially
are
if you do a destination wedding.
is society okay? $400 worth of food for 3 plates of food, or even 1 plate of food. Are we okay? No, are we really okay?
Some people want it, so
I
they
do
do
not
it.
want that.
And that's fine.
I do not want that. We
That's
gonna get
okay.
married, and then you gonna see me on vacation
We
with
can go
my
down to the
man,
courthouse. I don't mind
with my
that.
man, spending the money I would have spent on y'all. Mm-mm. We need to cut this thing out where people are having these huge ass life achievements and going into debt and bankruptcy because of people, funerals, weddings, and shit like that. It should be the people around you supporting you and giving you to start your new journey or to grieve, not the other way around.
I said this to my mother the other day
Let's
because
not
we're
do
going.
this.
I said this to my mom the other day, like I think like 2, 3 months ago. If I should go before you, chances are I'm not going to be in Jamaica when I do go. Do not be spending two point odd
Hundreds of
million
thousands of dollars to
dollars
get
to
me
fly my body. No, no, not hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to fly my body back to Jamaica. Please to cremate me
right and ship
and
the damn ashes.
hold me in your lap and take me home on the plane and
It
have a
is
memorial with my picture next to it,
it is
please.
absolutely ridiculous. And again, capitalism is at play because how a lot of these systems are designed is for you to spend this extravagant amount of money for
Hmm.
what reason? And
And I
for
know it sounds
who?
morbid, but it's the reality. Like, why are you going to sink yourself in debt
Into
just to bury
debt?
me? Like, girl, no.
No. Mm-mm. Absolutely not. But anyways, that
Mm,
was a nice, you know.
yeah, we can end it here.
But anyways, guys, we have come to another riveting episodes of
Oh, look at
Sugars.
you.
I am ending it today because our dearly beloved is departing.
What the fuck? What the hell? You make it sound like I'm dying. I'm not dying, guys.
Prison, honey, prison.
But yes, I
Anyways,
have been
also do
that guy
not talk to me
Rickster.
about Drag Race because I'll be busy later. But but yes, this was Darian, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back soon.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.